What's up, dudes? It's me, Ryan from 105mm Studios, also known as the UK King of Ping, and today I'm really fucking stoked to take you through my new Kontakt instrument, Gigashots 1.2. So for those who might not be aware, Gigashots was initially a pack of one-shots that I released a couple years ago, and it's been a couple years. They've had some good attention, so I figured that I should probably upgrade things, make it a bit easier for people to integrate into their mixes, and offer more, basically. So with this update, we've now updated from one-shots into multi-sampled sets, so more velocities, multiple round robins. To get us started, I'm going to play you through a little bit of the demo, and then I'm going to go through what all of these controls do. So as you can hear, it's a pretty niche kind of sound, but I think something that's getting quite popular right now. It's always been a sound that I've been a huge fan of. As you can see on the GUI, I would say there's probably 5 main zones to look at. We have our, I guess, channel strips here, our attack and decay section, our snare menu, our note mapping, and our pitch section. We have close and far channels, so close is all of the mics that were close, so like snare top, snare bottom. There's a couple of snares that have like a trash mic that's quite close in there as well. That's all blended together and processed. And then a far channel, which is basically all of like the ambient channels, overheads rooms, far rooms, hallway mics and stuff like that are all in this channel. Next we have mute buttons. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you don't want to hear the far channel, you mute it. If you don't want to hear the close channel, you mute it. Next we have our output menus, and this means that you can route either of these channels out to any output in Kontakt. After that, I'm going to miss the attack and decay because I'll go into that a bit later for a specific use case scenario. Next we have our snare menu, which is where you select whichever set of snare samples you want to use. Next, I'm going to run us through the note mapping section. As you can see, there are 2 note mappings available. Some libraries only use 1 note for mapping of the snare, including center, ghost notes, and rim shots. Other libraries, like TuneTrack stuff, has a different mapping for both center and rim shot, and I basically wanted to offer the easiest way to have mappings available. The only thing that I would recommend is to not have either of these mappings on the same note. Kontakt will play 2 samples at the same time. You might be really into that, but it can kind of get a bit crazy and a bit leery in terms of like the attack of the samples, just because it is just 2 snares right on top of each other. So I'd avoid doing that and just selecting a note that isn't used in your session, something like either really low down or really high up, like G8 or C-2, just so that it's out of the way and it's not going to get in the way of any other mappings from any other library. You can click and drag to select a note, and the keyboard at the bottom will kind of show you which note you have selected. You can also type in a note that you want if you already know which one you want specifically and you don't want to have to faff around dragging things around. And then also I included learn functions. Say that you're sat in an E-kit and you want to be able to play using the Gigashots. If you didn't know what your snare MIDI map note was coming from your kit, you could very simply hit learn. I'm just going to use Apple's musical typing here. Hit your snare or hit the key on your controller and it will automatically map to whichever note has been hit. Next we have our pitch knob, and this is super self-explanatory. Obviously, Kontakt offers a really wide tuning range. I think it's 36 semitones on either side. If you wanted to have some more fine tuning, as you'll see in the help box down here, and this goes for any of these controls, if you want to have more fine tuning, if you hold down shift and drag, it will give you the ability to move much more incrementally. If you are ever in a situation where you can't get something to zero back on, again, this goes for any of the controls. If you hold down Control on PC or Command on Mac and you click any of the buttons, they will all resolve back to the default that I set in the scripting. So that's basically all of the easy stuff out the way. We move on to the attack and decay. The reason why I included attack and decay knobs is basically because I wanted these to be able to be integrated into a current mix very easily. So say the CCC medium, for whatever reason, has like a crazy ring somewhere, and it was just a little bit too much. You could use the decay knob to basically taper that off and have like less of the room tone, less of the room noise, and less of the ring basically. So I'll demonstrate that now very quickly. It then turns into a very manageable kind of snare sample. Next is the attack, and I've kind of set up a bit of a use case scenario for this. So the drums that I'm using, apart from the snare in this mix, is RS Monarch using my UK King of Ping 1 preset. I, just before this, prepped a snare. It's a bit more low tuned, a lot drier, and it sounds like this. Let me just unmute the one shot. I've used the envelope inside of Monarch to really take the decay down. It's not usually this dry, but I thought it would demonstrate this kind of specific scenario better. When you start layering, and I'm sure some people will know this, when you start layering different drum samples from different companies, depending on where that company has decided to cut on the transient, some companies cut a little bit earlier just to make sure that all of the transient attack is there. Some companies cut right on the transient. When you're layering different things from different companies and different libraries, this can basically lead to some really strange phasiness in the attack, as well as just kind of this like flamming effect that you get. And I wanted to mitigate that basically by giving you the option to taper off the attack of the Gigashot, leaving you with just the ring and the decay. So I've changed this to the brass piccolo medium one more time, just so we can hear what it sounds like. Very typical kind of modern metalcore snare there. I'm going to unmute Gigashots, and I'm going to bring the attack in. When I solo out, Gigashots is going to sound like this, which is obviously somewhat unremarkable, but it means that you can blend this into existing projects with existing snare samples and have it not get in the way, not be super phasey, but also take advantage of how stupid and how processed and how ridiculous Gigashots kind of sounds. One more thing to add about the attack and decay. If you want to bypass the envelope entirely, and it does say this in the help box at the bottom, simply set both of the knobs to 0, and that means that it is completely bypassed playing the whole sample all the way through. So I hope you find this little walkthrough helpful, and if you are interested in buying Gigashots, you can find it in the link somewhere. I would have put it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you pick it up and enjoy yourself just some stupid ass snares.